So, if you want to learn how to check the car over, I'm going to try to do a really quick thing about what you can look at while it's on the ground. Mine's a little bit off the ground, but we'll just treat it like it's on the ground. So anyway, easiest thing to check, lift up the covers. There's always covers on these damn things. So take them off. Oftentimes they're just pull straight up, especially on Audis. See, we got like oil residue things around here. Not too much to worry about, just a little bit, but you want to check for like major oil anywhere all around here. If it's smoking, stuff like that obviously is a big issue. Check for like rust or accident damage. Make sure all the pipes look intact, hoses look intact, they're not broken, they're not worn out, anything like that. Give your intake boots, things like that, a quick squeeze, just kind of see how they feel. Make sure they don't feel like they're paper or they're really crappy. Same thing with your radiator hoses. Just, they should feel firm. You can come around to the tires. Oftentimes you can see the brakes through the tires, and so you can just kind of angle yourself where you knock off a cover. Let me get all this will require is a flashlight, and so you can see we got some brake pads, so we're doing all right there. You can go and look up measurements of brake pads and things like that about how much you should have. So same thing over here. See, we got some brake pads, so we're looking all right with the brake pad. Tires for tire quality and condition. See how much tread there's left on it. If it looks like it's got tread, the wear bars are these little bumps. I don't know if you can really see that on this wet tire, but when you can draw a straight line across the tire, across those wear bars, as they're called, then you have worn out tires, or if they're close. So look for that. Other than that, you know, look around the outside of your car, make sure there's no accident damage. Any looks like spots that it might have been repainted, various things like that. Preferably take a flashlight, kind of look down in the engine. Look to see if there's anything under it that has been leaking, because all sources will go to the bottom. Now, in just a second, I'm going to show you one of the biggest problems with a lot of modern cars after I pick this thing up and show you. So, give me a second to pick up the car. Alright, so we are... Ooh! I have this car up in the air and it's raining on me because it's raining outside. Anyway, one of the biggest problems with checking over something like this is that. Under tray. It'll catch a lot of the fluids and things that drip or things like that. It does do a good job of protecting the car from road debris and various things like that, so it does have its purpose, but it makes it very difficult to check over, so we're going to have to pull that off. Under the car, we got the cover off, as you can see right there. There's two covers on this one, actually, that one there, but this just holds a little bit of the transmission. You can kind of see under there and have a good view, just pulling it down a little bit. You can see there's no leaks, there's no debris on the bottom. The thing you gotta remember is all leaks go down. Gravity, 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 gravity. So anything that leaks, you could have oil down here on the bottom of the pan like this. There's a teensy tiny bit of residue, and it's probably from just oil changes, because I don't see anywhere else. Because see how it's very localized to this area is where the stuff is. When you come up here, if you see oil coming down the side and then pooling at the bottom, keep going up, keep going up. Whatever you're looking for, keep going up. See if there's a higher point that it could be leaking from, like a valve cover or someplace like that. We've had valve covers that people are like, I think I need an oil pan gasket. No, the valve covers are leaking. Always start at the highest point when looking for repairs first. You gotta start at the highest point, fix it, clean it up, double check it. Because starting an oil pan gasket when you have a valve cover leaking isn't going to do you anything. Then we're going to look at suspension. Going to look for broken bushings, broken links, anything of that nature. Hoses, the hose condition, make sure that they look like they are intact and they are not rusting, they're not falling apart, they're not leaking. It's really hard to tell about leaks after rain, but so you check these. These are your ball joint boots. Make sure that those are intact. Your axle boots, that's intact. That's intact. You can always tell when these boots start to leak because there'll be like grease slung all around the inside of your wheel. Will be nasty. Again, boots intact. Boots intact. Boots good. Hoses and everything else look pretty good. It's all looking just fine. This is a 2013 Audi. Springs don't look rusty. Our shocks look okay. It's like I said, it's hard to tell if they're leaking or anything. With shocks, oftentimes you get like a little trail down the side of it. Everything under here looks okay. And if you're looking at your own car and you're able to get under it, kind of like this, like whether you jack it up or just slide under it, I would say record something, do a little video, do it with your cell phone or something. Just kind of give yourself a baseline to look at, so that way in the future you can come back, do the same procedure, go through under here and just like start looking at bushings, and these are bushings in here, bushings right there, etc. Just go through looking at all your bushings and your suspension and your tires. Like you can see now, we can see our tires better. Here are our wear bars. See those little bars that go across? So when you can draw a line all the way across that, then that is your indication that your tires are worn out. Things like, put the phone, just whack the exhaust, you can see it's not rattling, so the catalytic converter's doing all right, drive shaft, everything else looking good. Oop. See our differential's not leaking, it's a little dirty, but that's, what else, what do you expect? It's on the side of the car. A little bit rusty here, really rusty, so just make note of that. Make sure it doesn't get much worse. Of course, all you people from up north are gonna be like, that's not rusty. And then we'll go over functionality and other things to check. So, thanks for that. Alright, to wrap up your check over, check everything else in the car. Like, especially if you're buying a new car, check all the windows, check the sunroofs, make sure they function, the heat, the AC, any button knob thing you can find, the mirror working, the mirrors, seat heaters, seat track, automatic seat, electric seats, there we go. Navigation, rear air defrosters, the little line thing, the defrosters on the rear, you know, the little lines that heat up and melt snow or ice. Preferably drive it, make sure all the gauges come up, temperatures come up to normal, what would be normal, the gas gauge is reading okay, the mileage is reasonable. You can also do a lot of the stuff based off mileage, what you're checking. I'd say between 0 and 50,000 miles, you're not going to need a ton of checking over, because typically not a ton goes wrong. It's usually still covered under manufacturer's warranties, and if it's also under the year limit, and you're not usually going to run into too much stuff. Of course, still check it over, but it's not as likely. 50 to 100,000 miles, that's where you're starting to get more into the maintenance. You got to make sure maintenance has been done, make sure it's been done properly, make sure it's have records for things like that. Also, 100,000 plus, that's where you really got to be careful. You preferably would like to take it somewhere to get them to check it out, get them to, you know, really look it over, scan the computers, look for any leaks or possible damage to suspension, engine, stuff like that, making sure that yes, they have records, or they don't have records where they're taking it to a regular shop. Oftentimes if a car doesn't have if the owner doesn't specifically have all the records, they may be able to tell you, but I did take it to the shop, and the shop should have records of the same stuff. So that also works. But thank you for watching. I hope this is helpful. I would like to do a little bit more in-depth one at some point. I don't know when I'll get to it. It's been just kind of busy here lately, so when I get a car to check over again, we'll go through it, preferably one at a different mileage. This one's at 46,000 miles. Didn't see a lot wrong with it. Didn't really find anything wrong with it, other than maybe those little exhaust brackets were kind of rusty. What are you gonna do? Other than that, it's in great shape. It's drove great. Make sure your steering wheel's straight when you're driving and stuff like that. Thanks for watching, and I hope that helps.